Good evening. I'd like to get started just about 7 o'clock. I know the Bruins are on tonight, so I'd like to get rolling here. My name is Andy Crisafulli, the athletic director here at Joseph Case High School, and I'd like to welcome building administration, family members, student athletes, and athletic coaches to our Spring Athletic Awards banquet. I'd like to send a special thank you to all of our parents and guardians for your continued support of not only our school, but our athletic program. Due to the hard work of both our student athletes and coaches, the 2018-19 sports program experienced great success, both on and off the field or court. Multiple programs won South Coast Conference divisional championships, many earned postseason berths, and most importantly, our student athletes and coaches represented our school and town with great class. Tonight we'll be recognizing not only the many individual and team accomplishments, but also celebrating a very exciting spring season. To assist me with tonight's banquet are the many dedicated coaches that are sitting behind me, who will be introduced as their sport is presented. Now, a crucial or critical part of our athletic department success, or athletic program success, is the involvement and support of our building administrators. So thank you to Mr. McCann and Mr. Costa, wherever Mr. Costa is, for your interest, support, attendance, and leadership within our athletic program. And trust me, when I'm on many committees, not every single community in high school has the support that we do. So I'm very thankful as the person who oversees the athletic program, and I know our kids are and families are too. A special thank you goes to our booster club, the Friends of the Cardinals. It seems as though every banquet they outdo themselves with new initiatives that they're introducing. We did an online sign-up, which I think worked actually very well to track the food and beverages that were coming in. And traditionally, we do have quite a bit of leftovers, and I'm sure that we'll be able to take care of that after. Now, before we begin tonight's ceremony, I'd like to take a moment to recognize a very special individual. It is fitting that we present this person with the first award of this evening because for 23 years, he has always put Joseph Case High School athletics, its student athletes, and their families first. For 23 years, 2 athletic directors, over 150 coaches, thousands of student athletes and student athlete families, I believe 5 state championships, numerous South Coast Conference and South Sectional championships, tens of thousands of hours, and most importantly, a loyalty and love for this great high school that we are all fortunate enough to experience. Russell Boardman will be leaving us at the conclusion of this spring season. He will leave a legacy of professionalism, commitment, sacrifice, and care. Russell is an athletic trainer, a coworker, a friend, a mentor, and confidant that will be missed by all who were fortunate enough to work with him. Nothing will match Russell's love for Joseph Case High School athletics because Russell Boardman is Joseph Case High School athletics. Russ, can you please come up to the podium? In show of gratitude and appreciation, and again, trying to summarize 23 years of service, and when I say this gentleman gives 7 days a week of his life, and I'm probably not supposed to say this, but many more hours than he's contracted to be here for the care of all of our kids, our student athletes, and to service all of our coaches. All right, so again, this is a very small token of appreciation, but it says in recognition of 23 years of professional, dedicated, selfless service to the student athletes, staff, and families of Joseph Case High School Athletics, June 6, 2019. Mr. McCann, if you can come up and present this to Mr. Boardman. All right, you're the man of the hour. Go ahead, have fun.
It's been an honor and a privilege. I'll miss you all. It's just I'm just moving on to other things, but it was an honor to work for all of you. So thank you very much.
Okay. We have a lengthy program this evening, and you can follow along with the paper itinerary that hopefully you grabbed on the way in. And I hope everyone got a chance to grab that at the door. Our first presenter this evening is our Unified Outdoor Track Coach, Dave Singletary.
Thank you. Before I begin, there's a couple of people I need to thank for their help throughout the season. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Joseph Case High School Principal Brian McCann, Athletic Director Andrew Cristofoli, and Student Service Director Julie Gorell. Without their behind-the-scenes support of the Unified Track Team, this team wouldn't exist. I'd also like to thank Unified Track Team Liaison, Heather St. Ives. She helped organize our season, set up all of our meets, or ran our home meets, and behind-the-scenes work that she did was incredible. I'd like to thank my two assistant coaches, Miss Julie Gorell and Jody Cordero, through all their assistance throughout the season. Finally, I need to thank all those who came out and supported the Unified Track Team's meets this year, especially Mr. Bob Mitchell and the Boys and Girls Track Team, who came and volunteered and ran all of our events. Our meets were a success because of you. Now I'd like to get on with why I'm really here, the Unified Track Team. Unified Sports is an endeavor between the MIAA and Special Olympics to try and bring inclusion through sports and competition. The amazing group of young people that made up the Joseph Case High School Unified Track Team did just that, not only with themselves, but with the teams they competed against. Our season started on a cool day in March. My favorite part of all of the practices throughout the season was watching the first 15 minutes when the team would do their warm-up laps and stretching. These were the moments that the team bonds were created. Moments like Cage and Mackenzie Barboza trying to race each other around the track, often going the wrong way, or walking across the field to be first. Watching Brianna, Allie, Seth, and Mackenzie Orton make sure that they'd find someone to walk with as they were walking around the track to warm up. On that first practice, many of the team picked their events. One of the things that I found amazing was several of the members challenged themselves and picked more difficult events. And also challenged themselves, some of the students challenged themselves just by being on the team. Our first coaches award did just this. Prior to this season, he never ventured to activities outside the normal school day. However, in the spring of his senior year, he took a risk, going out of his normal comfort zone and joined the Unified Track Team. He asked many, many, many questions, but he always tried his best as the season went on, improved. The first Coach's Award goes to Devin Belisle. After several more very cool practices, it was time for our first meet, and on a very cool April Thursday, our Unified Track Team had the honor of hosting the first track meet at Joseph Case High School in over 5 years. The meet was a great success, largely due to the work of Miss St. Ives behind the scene, and again, the volunteers from the Boys and Girls Track Team, as well as a few others. The team did well and held its own despite competing against a team that was 3 times our size. The strongest performance of the day was Joey Gorell with the fastest 100-meter run and the longest long jump of the day, a feat he would repeat throughout the season. Our second meet was again in the friendly confines of Cardinal Stadium, this time versus Somerset and Bishop Connolly. And our third meet and final regular season meet of the season was at Durfee, on another cool day. The team continued to make me proud, not only with their improvement of each member of the team, but the way they carried themselves and the positive attitude they showed themselves and with those who they were competing against. Up next was our sectional meet on a beautiful day with a cool breeze. The team did extremely well, and at the sectional meet finished in second place. Many of the members of the team achieved personal records at the sectional meet, including Amanda in the 800-meter run, Vicky in the long jump, and Jeremy in the shot put. However, again, it wasn't just the team's performance that made me proud to coach this team. It was watching the team interact with each other and those around them. It was a joy to watch Addie and Jessica having a conversation with someone new every time I turned around. Watching one of the boys try something like spin the javelin, and then Lauren pick it up and do it better. The team was always kind and enjoyed the company of each other. The second Coach's Award goes to an amazing young lady who epitomizes this kindness. She's a senior in her second season as a member of the Unified Track Team. She always had a smile on her face and a kind word for a teammate. Every time someone was late, she'd go, "Do you want me to give him a call?" She also ran her personal record for the 100-meter at the sectional meet. The second Coach's Award goes to Rylan Costa. Shouldn't have sat all the way on the inside. With the strong performance we had at the sectional meet, 11 members of the team qualified for the state meet, which is, again, another cool day. The team finished fourth out of 29 Division II teams across the state of Massachusetts, with 3 first-place finishes, including Cameron's personal record in the javelin throw of 107 feet and 2 inches. We had 2 second-place finishes, 4 third-place finishes, and 3 fourth-place finishes. We also found the answer to a very important question: what would Kyron do for a Pop-Tart? I'll let him answer that one for you. However, with all that success, the team continued to show kindness and compassion for each other. The members of the team were as happy for a teammate's success as they were their own. No one demonstrated this more than our team MVP. In fact, she rooted for everyone at every meet. Whomever came in first was always greeted with a "way to go" or "wow, that was fast." In her third season with the Unified Track Team and one of the original members of the team MVP, Miss Abigail Boudry. Picking only 3 awards for this team was an incredibly difficult task. I could have easily made an argument for any one of the 18 members to get one of the awards. Each one of the 18 young adults that made up this year's Unified Track Team are among the kindest people you're ever going to meet. They're amazing people, and I was glad to be their coach.
Good job, Mr. Singletary. Okay, before our next presenter, please make sure that if you are an award winner, whether it is a Coach's Award, MVP, any type of South Coast Conference Awards, please make sure that after the ceremony is over, you report to the gymnasium. Bill Hall is here from the Spectator, and he'll be covering the event. So he's going to be very happy and glad to take all of our pictures and get us in the Spectator, so please make sure you stick around for that. So our next presenter is Dave Raynone from our boys tennis program.
Well, I know it's going to be a difficult year this year. You go from the best team you've had in the past 20 years, and then you come back in third Monday in March, and you find out you only have one returning JV player. And literally everyone's a beginner, all freshmen except one sophomore and one senior. Pretty much no one had ever picked up a racket before, and that's not your ideal mix to start out the season. So myself and my trusty assistant, Eli Geldard, who was my number one player the last 4 years, we just went to work right from the beginning. Had to teach the kids how to score, how to warm up, how to figure out who serves first, how to score, how to know if the balls are in, if the balls are out, when you can talk to your coach, when you can take a drink. And that's before we even had a match. But day one, we're out there, Eli and myself, watching the kids hit, they're struggling, watching balls go over the fence, and we're seriously worried whether we'll have enough balls to even practice with in another couple of weeks. You know that's true. I looked at Eli and said, oh my God, thank God we got Henning Anderson, at least he's a senior, and he's played 4 years on the team. While we're looking at the other 7 kids swinging and missing at the ball, it's a hard game to play. And in 4 years of high school, you probably aren't even going to learn it that well. It's difficult. By the end of the first week, they were so much better. Don't get me wrong, they weren't great yet. God bless them. And Eli looked up and said, Coach, I think they're getting better. But by the end of that week, they really did. High school tennis coaches, they don't teach beginners. They don't teach how to stroke the ball. They don't teach anything like that. We assume everyone knows how to play. It's a varsity sport, and we just coach them. I thought, something, we're not going to get anywhere this year doing that. So Eli and I just taught and taught and taught and taught. And every once in a while, someone listens. And my buddy Eli said, Coach, they don't do anything that we teach them. I told him, just because you teach it doesn't mean they're listening, or they even can do it, or even care to do it. They're just out here having fun with us. Most of them are 9th graders. I think after a week, Eli understood what coaching's really like. You're welcome to the world of education. But the kids are having fun. We're a little worried. Our first match was coming up. Kids had to learn fast how to improve. Then again, I heard my buddy Eli saying, Coach, I think they're getting better. We're on a long road. They learn the game. They learn to represent Case High and Swansea well. We learn to trust each other. They didn't know me. We developed some great relationships between the players, the coaches, the parents. And in the end, that's what it's supposed to be in high school. In the end, it were learning experiences for all of us. We made friendships, bonded, we had fun, had lots of off-tennis conversations. They made memories that will last them a lifetime, and they can be proud to say that this year they were the members of the 2019 Case High boys tennis team. As far as season results, be honest, I never thought we'd win a match. You can ask my athletic director. You're going to ask Eli. He had more faith in him than me, but then all of a sudden on May 9th, that's the 11th match of the year, we won. We beat Wareham. I know. Behind Henning Anderson, we did. I got to give it credit, Henning Anderson and Steve Konis and Will Golembuski and Caden Capaldo. Then we started piling up the wins. We're a juggernaut because we won another one, our very last match at Westport. Same guys, Golembuski and Capaldo and Konis again. And this time, Jacob Karen and Sean Patoto had their first tennis win. It was pretty neat. So the team started that year as kind of a bunch of nervous players, not even sure if they should be out there. Wonder if the other kids are just too overwhelming. But we ended up with a good little core of players that we should build on in the next 3 years. As far as players' records, in the end, Caden Capaldo led the team with 7 wins, 5 of them in doubles. Win Golembuski got 5 wins at number 1 doubles. Steve Konis, whose matches he knows lasted for hours. We're going to give him, if you knew Tyler Abdullah, the Tyler Abdullah Award. 4 wins at singles. Henning Anderson, 2 wins. Jeremy Rocha, senior, who'd never picked up a racket before, 2 wins. Jacob Karen, a win. Sean Patoto, a win. Adam Podesky, I think he had at least 2 wins playing the JVs. So I'd say that was pretty darn good. I hate to say like everybody gets a ribbon, but everybody got a win this year. As far as awards, it's never easy to figure things out. So we'll start with a sportsmanship award. This one goes, and I always like this award, to a young man who seemed to have more fun on the court than he should have. Always had a smile. He took all my jokes. He was a delight to be around every day. Great parents. A nicer demeanor and attitude on the court a coach couldn't ask for. So tonight, there's no question that the Sportsmanship Award goes to freshman Adam Podesky. Yeah. Here you go, partner. Coaches Award. There's two tonight. Normally there's only one. There's two tonight. This player played everywhere we needed him. Played number 1 singles, number 2 singles, number 3 singles, wherever he had to. Had to put his personal ego aside sometimes to help us get our first win of the year against against Wareham. He's a 4-year player, first-year starter. I was going to say the second best trumpet player in the room tonight, maybe in the first. And our team captain, Henning Anderson. There you go, Captain. The other coach's award goes to a person we didn't quite know where to play him at first. Had him at singles, had him at doubles. He had never played before. Eli and I are trying to figure out where he might be in the future. He sort of sneaked up on us and won four matches, all at singles. There's not a kid on the team that plays any harder than he does or has matches as long as he does, and that's Steve Konis. I'm going to get them all let's see the honorable mentions again. There you go, partner. All right, team MVP. This goes to somebody, again, who never played tennis before. It'd be nice to get a player that has played tennis before. He seriously has the most natural talent of any kid on the team. He has more natural talent than most of the kids I've coached. And I've coached since 1981. He ended up playing number 1 on the team. He had 2 wins, one against Wareham, one against DR. He's MVP because he had to sacrifice himself and play at number 1. If he doesn't play at number 1, they make the matches a little easier for the other kids so that we can win. We don't win any matches at all this year. So he sacrificed himself at number 1. Shame he played this year in only 1 year, but he's a great kid. I became very close to him this year. And the MVP goes to senior Jeremy Rocha. There you go, partner. All right, now to the honorable mention, SCC. For the last few years, when we had some pretty good teams, it was rare for us to have anyone make all SCC, or even honorable mention. This year we had 3. We had 2 freshmen and we had a sophomore. So we're hoping in the next few seasons they could be all SCC. Honorable mention SCC goes to Caden Capaldo, Win Golembuski, and Steve Konis. Okay, Dave, good year. You want to take wins with you?
Sure, I'll take it.
Honest again, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, just a few people to thank, and then we'll end it. I got to say, it was a fun year all around. Certainly no pressure to win a league championship like we had last year. It was a different kind of a year. Had a lot of enthusiasm. We laughed at mistakes. I enjoyed teaching. I enjoyed watching the kids struggle, then improve, and then get better, and then actually win some matches and feel like they really were worthy players. So thank you very much, team. Thanks to Principal McCann, who's always been a big tennis fan of us. Vice Principal Mr. Costa, my AD, Andy Christofoli, never misses a beat when he's rescheduling matches every other day because of rainouts. Coach Hitu, making sure the defibrillator is there all the time, just in case I witness an upset against Old Rochester. And Russell Boardman, our trainer, we don't give him a lot of business in tennis, though we had in the past, but he's become a great friend over the years. I always look forward to him coming around the tennis courts, beginning of the year, say hi, talk some politics. I'll miss Russ, believe me. Also, parents, I think this is a new group of parents. I didn't know any of these. I've known almost every parent for the last 20 years. I didn't know any of these. But I thank them. I got to know them, like them. I thank them for the support. People that trusted me with their kids. I hope I met your expectations. But mostly, I just want to thank them for raising some great kids. I can't promise your kids tennis scholarships. That's never, if you know me, that's never been our goal. And lastly, I don't know if he's still here or he has to pick up his sister from her first day of actual work. Eli Geldard, all I can say to Eli is thanks for your help. I literally couldn't have done it without you this year. He knows that well. In the end, having a kid like Eli is what teaching and coaching is all about. We had him as a freshman, a little immature freshman, he'll admit. We watched him grow, mature over 4 years. We developed a close relationship to the point where I have a friend for life who wants to come back and he wants to help our team. And guys, that's what it's all about. That's what I want from you guys in the coming years. And lastly, good luck to Henning and Jeremy in college. Come back and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before our next presenter, just a reminder to our student athletes, varsity letter winners. Your coaches have letters and pins for varsity award winners. Each student athlete in the program will also be getting a certificate, so please make sure you see your coaches post-banquet. So our next presenter is first-year girls tennis coach, Mr. Jeff Hitu.
All right, thank you for coming. I would also like to make sure I thank Mr. McCann, Mr. Costa, Mr. Christofoli, and definitely Mr. Boardman for, luckily we did not have to send him much help, but he still earns his money and he's going to be sorely missed. I most importantly want to thank my team. They're something, all right. They are probably one of the best groups of girls I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I really do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. They were there every day in sweatshirts, other people's sweatshirts, sweatpants, more sweatpants, and pretty much almost any clothing because they were all freezing at all times. But they came regardless every day to get better. And that is one of the qualities that I can't say that I admire the most. They were there, even though nobody would want to admit to our overall record of 0-14. Yes, it happened. But these girls were there every day, trying to get better, taking the criticism, taking a beating by some of these teams, but they came back with a smile every day, and they put in their practice. Now, I also want to make sure I acknowledge students that performed absolutely incredibly, especially when I didn't think they had the ability. They started off, first time they ever picked up a racket, and by the end of the season managed to make impacts within the varsity level. I definitely want to make sure Carissa Felisberto and Madison Raimondo I hope they look forward to their next upcoming seasons and how much of an impact they're going to make and how much they have improved over the course of one season. If they make that much improvement, hey, we might post a win for the next year, maybe. I don't know. We'll go 1-13. We'll set the bar low. Now, coming through, I do have to say, this was my first year coaching tennis, and it is a sport like no other. It is a sport that you have 7 individuals all working for one effort, which that part I'm used to. But every game is its own thing. And some of our girls were posting marathon efforts. I would like to look and say, oh yeah, yes, they were 0-14. But some of my girls had over 200 individual games. That's a lot of tennis. That's a lot of tennis. And they stuck through. They came back the next day, and they tried even harder. So with that, I want to introduce my first award, the SEC Sportsmanship. This girl came in, she started off as our number 1, and then through illness and injury, she ended up having to take a couple days off. But when she came back, she tried even harder. And she came back every day. And even on things that she couldn't necessarily do, she would look and say, what can I help with? What can I help with? Now, granted, most of it was me trying to pry these words out of her, because I'm pretty sure I've heard 2 words out of her by her own accord. Most of it is in response to me. I look forward to her senior year next year, and her efforts that she's going to put forward. And I can guarantee nobody on our team has put as much work into her season as she did, and looking forward to her first one. So the SEC Sportsmanship goes to Sophia Miranda. All right, the next award is one of my coach's awards, and this student has to probably be the most stubborn kid I have ever met in my life. She will take everything, she bites her lip, she will kind of scowl at me, question me, and push me to actually be a better coach, which I actually admire in her as a personality. She was one that she stayed pretty consistent throughout, and she definitely drove people insane by making sure that her opponent worked hard to get that win against her. She wasn't going to go down without a fight. And with that, my first coach's award does go to Junior Kyla Zora. You are the most stubborn person I've ever met.
Actually, I follow.
All right, the next athlete that I would like to recognize, she came out one of the only 4-year players that was on the team. She started off, she worked hard, she came with a smile every day, and it was a student that I didn't really see much in the halls over the last 3 years. I saw her as a freshman, and then I got the pleasure of actually seeing her again as an athlete. And I was very much impressed with her. She came, she tried hard, and she actually ended up working and earning the spot at the number 1 for the second half of the season, and managed to give one of the best players in the leagues a run for money and pull off a victory. She was an athlete that I would have to say is hard to match. She came across as almost, you wouldn't expect it at first, but then all of a sudden she tries, and she's going to play you hard, and she is going to run around that court bounce around on her backhand, which I'm still not sure how she does, and place it where she wanted. She is an incredible individual, and I wish her the best as she goes forward in her next venture over at UMass Amherst. So the SEC Honorable Mention and Coaches Award goes to Courtney Jacobson. All right, the last award is Team MVP. Once again, I want to reiterate, 0-14. I cannot give this award on merit alone in the sense that she posted 3 victories. I'll give her that. She was 3-11 on the season. She'll correct me. But she was one of the athletes that showed up every day. Whether her cheeks were swollen to the size of balloons, or that she was feeling great, or somehow still walking after she beat the crap out of her feet with her tennis racket the match before. But she was an athlete and a student that everybody looked up to as not only just a good player or someone who could be a great player, everybody looked up to her as just a natural leader. Everybody looked at her as the de facto person that if something went wrong, she was the person to ask. If something needed to be accomplished, she was the person to go to. She was a point person for almost everything. And that is one of those admirable traits that I think is going to take her forever. And she will be successful at almost everything that she tries. So I do want to say my team MVP and also SEC honorable mention goes to Shaylee Allerhead. All right, with that, have a great night, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hitu. Just to add to the announcement I made about the varsity letters, in preseason, each one of the coaches shared their criteria on how to earn a varsity letter. So those individuals who did earn them will be receiving them. And just to kind of hop on what Coach Ranone and Mr. Hitu said, it was very. I'll tell you, our student athletes were fantastic this spring with the weather, and trust me, it was as unpredictable as it comes all the way to the very end. You know, you start off the season, it's 25 degrees, and you end the season, it's 82 degrees. And I know there's a lot of switches and changes and games and locations and practice times, indoors, outdoors, and there's a lot to manage, and these coaches have done a phenomenal job in managing all of that. And you guys, as student athletes and parents, are equally responsible in the job that you did. So I thank you for that. So our next presenter this evening is our baseball coach, Jordan Ameren.
So like Mr. Christopher said, my name is Jordan Ameren. I'm the baseball coach. This is my second year. First, I would like to thank Mr. McCann and Mr. Costa for their support of athletics throughout the year. I'd like to thank Mr. Christopher for everything he does for our coaches and student athletes. And then I'd like to say a personal thanks to Russ Boardman. Most of the time, he's the first person I talk to when I get to school and usually the last person I see when I'm leaving. I know he does some great work with our student athletes, and I know he'll do some great work in the future. He helped me out big time. I had a serious injury in high school, and come 10 years later, I still see him here. He did a great job. So thank you, Russ, and good luck. So just like most baseball seasons, we had ups and downs. Unfortunately, we had a few more downs than ups this year. But so we were 8-12. 7 of our 12 losses were actually by 1 run, and 4 of those were in extra innings. So if we got a different bounce one way or another a couple times, we'd probably having a different conversation. So this year we had 8 seniors. Ross, Audette, Logan Sherratt, Liam McKenzie, Casey Santerre, Nick Gerling, Cole Escobar, Shane Lewis, and Dylan Tibitot. I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck going forward, and don't be strangers. Stop by the field. So on to our awards. So our first coaches award we're giving out. This was a very interesting player in the beginning of the year. This was a first-time baseball player as a senior. Baseball is not something you can just pick up and join a team and think you're going to succeed. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. This player knew from the outset he was up against it. Playing time was going to be very limited for him, but that did not stop him. He came to practice every day. He dove after every ball he could. Nobody ran the bases harder. He not once ever washed his pants, ever. Though I did ask him every day, and he told me he did, and he definitely didn't. With that, I just like to tell Shane Lewis, very proud of you. Come up and get your award. So our second coach's award goes to a player that I can say I don't know if there's somebody that plays harder than he does. He was banged up. He had a few injuries. He has as good of an attitude as anybody I've ever seen at any level of athletics. He did not have a great year, but that didn't change his work ethic, his attitude, and just his overall demeanor that he brings to the field every day. Junior Dan Silva. So our SCC honorable mention, we have two of them. So the first one I'll do. So this individual had 49 and 2/3 inning pitch, 19 earned runs, and an ERA of 2.7 with 28 strikeouts. I know it's not the year you wanted, but it happens. Logan Sherratt. 'Cause our next award goes to our team MVP and SCC honorable mention. This player was in the top 3 on batting average on the team. He's also had the lowest ERA on the mound. He kept us in every single game. He pitched a complete game and threw 63 pitches. If you're not a baseball fan, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if that's ever been done anywhere else. It's almost impossible to do that. So he pitched 39 and 2/3 innings. He only had 9 walks on the year with an ERA of 2.2. Team MVP and SCC honorable mention, Brad Deliker. Our last award recipient is actually not here today, so that's that. But I'd like to congratulate all of the class of 2019, graduating high school. Congratulations to all the athletes. Keep working hard, and see you guys next year.
63 pitches. That was like the 3rd inning in my game. So, okay. Our next presenter is Shannon Silva, a softball coach.
Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, I'd like to first start by thanking administration for affording me the opportunity to come back to my alma mater and coach Case softball. In the 20-plus years since I've played here, a lot has changed. One thing has remained the same, and that is Case softball is still competitive. I'd also like to thank our athletic director, Mr. Crisafulli, for helping me make the transition from college to high school a seamless one. Without the help of my assistants, Nicole Henrik, Bobby Oliver, and Ken Henrik, the amount of progress these girls have made during the season would have been impossible. So from myself and all of the girls, thank you for your endless hours you have put in. And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to thank Mr. Boardman for being, in my eyes, the best there is when it comes to caring for our athletes. Russell, you will be sorely missed in the dugout, and our dugout will always be open if you find yourself bored come next March. The 2019 softball season has been not just a successful one, but it has been an extremely pleasurable one to coach. When I first introduced myself to the team and spoke with the upperclassmen, I made it very clear that their roles this year would set the bar for the program's future, and I could not have asked for a better group of girls to do this. We were fortunate this year to have both a varsity and a JV team, and from day one, we have treated it as one program. The upperclassmen have made it their responsibility to take the younger girls under their wing, as well as set the standard as far as what would be expected from them in the softball program. And the younger girls have certainly risen to the challenge with our JV team going undefeated. It's been so rewarding to see them grow as a team, and the future of Case softball is certainly bright. On the field this season, much like any other season, we have seen our ups and our downs. Fortunately for softball, more ups than downs. Our 14-6 record has been highlighted with 2 wins against the defending state champions, Abington, who knocked us out of last year's state tournament. With the winning record, we have worked our way back into the tournament and will begin our quest to a state championship tomorrow in Holbrook. These ladies have worked extremely hard this season, and we're hoping that's all going to pay off in these next 2 weeks. Our first award tonight is the Sportsmanship Award. And while deciding on a recipient for this award, I looked up the definition of sportsmanship. Conduct, such as fairness, respect for one's opponents, and graciousness in winning or losing. Becoming one participating in a sport. When applying this to our team, one player has definitely stuck out to me. Each day, regardless of a win or a loss, her performance in the game, or where she was in the lineup, she showed up with the same smile on her face. Her respect for her teammates, the coaching staff, and the game of softball has helped to lift her teammates up all season. This year's recipient of the South Coast Conference Sportsmanship Award goes to Sydney Hayter. Our next award is the SCC Honorable Mention. This young lady has been the definition of dependable all year. Although we've asked her to play a position that wasn't the norm for her, she has made right field her home, and nobody in the conference has done it better. She has saved us countless runs with SportsCenter top 10 catches and is selfless in the 2 spot in the batting order. Our first SCC Honorable Mention goes to Jenna Tebow.
Great job,
Our second SCC Honorable Mention recipient is also receiving the 2019 Coaches Award. This young lady has been an invaluable asset to both myself and the entire coaching staff. As a coach who does not teach in the building, I have found myself several times needing some assistance from a player. She is always the first to step up, no matter what it is we ask of her, and her play on the field has been no less exceptional. Her fielding percentage of .967 was the highest in the conference among second basemen. And in the cleanup spot, she has batted .561 with 33 RBIs. She has been a leader both on and off the field and will be missed by us all next year. This year's recipient of the Coaches Award, as well as the South Coast Conference Honorable Mention, Chloe Bebo. And our last award is this year's MVP award. This year, when considering who was truly most valuable to our success as a team, there were two players whose performances were outstanding. The first, a four-year starter behind the dish, was also voted a South Coast Conference All-Star. Without her, we simply would not be as successful as we are. Not only does she not let anything get by her, she's the one making sure the whole team knows their role. She leads by example both on and off the field. Batting in the 3 spot, she has collected 44 RBIs with an average of .585, and she will certainly be hard to replace. This year's first MVP, Madison Medeiros. You're welcome. Good job. Our second MVP, also an SEC All-Star selection, is catching the eye of the press lately with her famous 20-game hitting streak. Starting this young lady off in the leadoff spot this year is most definitely the best coaching decision I've made. She's not only gotten a hit in every single one of our regular season games of 20, she leads the team in average at .588 and is sporting an on-base percentage over .700. Her defensive play has been stellar all season. With 78 defensive chances this year, her fielding percentage is 1,000. She's done all of this with a smile on her face and a giggle to go with it. Needless to say, she will be greatly missed next year. Our second MVP and SEC All-Star, Alyssa Feilhauer. Great job, kiddo. Thank you. And the softball team looks forward to keeping our season alive next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Our next presenter this evening, time check, is Mr. Bob Mitchell, who is our head coach of both of our boys and girls outdoor track teams.
No, he's really funny. I'm recording the Bruins, so get comfortable. First, there's so many thank yous. A lot of people have done them already, but I have to thank everyone involved. We're running in new uniforms on a new track, and it's made all the difference. I have two great coaches, Mark Fairchild and Jay Agley. I have to thank them. The captains, I've never relied on captains as much as I did this year. You know who you are, and I thank you. The parents, you're the best. End of story. Also, Russ Boardman, end of an era. You did a great job. We appreciate it. But I also feel it's end of era as Chris Costa graduates. I coached him and his brother, the Davidsons. I was lucky enough to coach 2 of the 3 of them, and I was their guest at their National Honor Society, and that meant a lot to me. And I never coached a Santerre, but somehow I've been part of that family for 10 years, so if you're here, you're the best. As we get into track, the competition, and I think Amber Ruda realized it this year. She did track for the first time. We go to meets that are all divisions. When we run in the small school, there's schools with 1,000 kids at those meets. Our throwers, Isaac is thrown against the #1 thrower a number of times. And when we put our best 3 shot putters against theirs, you beat them sometime. So at some point, you're going to see that guy on TV. He's going to Duke. And you're going to say, we beat him in some stuff. Amber threw against the top girl in the state, New England, and she's nationally ranked. We had a great season. Usually I do a speech for the boys and the girls. The boys did great, and the girls tried really hard. This year, no, but this year things have changed. I'd like to say it's great coaching, but it's Alyssa Storm, Megan Borges, and Meredith Castro turned the program around, so I can do these two speeches at once because they both went into Seekonk undefeated. They were both 3-0. There's a time where 1 win and 8 or 9 meets is what we expect from the girls. They were 3-0. We went against the powerhouse Seekonk. Their boys and girls were undefeated, and their powerhouse, they beat us, but we were in it all the way. So that's something I was very proud of. SECs, then it's large and small schools. Our boys were 3rd. Our girls were 6th. We're graduating a lot of kids, but as I look out, there's people I can look forward to in the future. Trey Godfrey, John Garrell, you're 2 people I really expect to step up next year. Numbers, I look across, the 9th graders over there. 9th graders are willing to do anything. If we needed them to build a new track, they would have done it. I have these helpful newcomers, and I have some really talented veterans. People had different goals. We had kids trying to set personal records, school records, which we're going to talk about, make it to state meets. And we had one young lady who said, I'm not going to come in last every single time this year. I don't know if she's here, but she never did. She did a great job. Let me see, I think we can. Andy set me up by putting me last. I don't thank him for that because everyone does want to get to the Bruins. I have 2 teams, but the problem is I have 2 very good teams. I have 15 awards to give out tonight, so we're a victim of our own success. Yeah, get real comfortable, order food. I'm not going to say too much about my team. It's one of the favorite teams. I've been coaching one way or another for over 20 years. It's one of my favorite teams I've ever been around. They not only accept me with my faults, they seem to enjoy them. And every time Board just looks at me, I fix my hair. It's so critical. So to my team, thank you for everything else. In the words of Rachel Davidson, there you go. Let's get to the awards. We'll do the girls first. You couldn't be here today. I'm missing a few people today. With seniors going and everything else going on, there's no way to schedule it, so I'm not upset these people aren't here. I'm still going to mention them quickly. SEC sportsmanship for the girls was Callie Howard. She was a talented jumper. She got better each and every meet. Great attitude. And she never wanted to run more than a 200, and then we need some of the 400 hurdles at the end. She jumped in. It's a difficult race. She really impressed me. So she's not here. I'll get that award to her. Now I'm going to jump into SEC honorable mentions. This first young lady coached her 2 seasons, and I wish her the best of luck in her future sport endeavors. She's a problem once a year today. Liz LePage is always going to get an award. It's tough to decide which award to give her. Easy Coaches Award, she's a great kid. But today's SEC honorable mention because we already know she's a great kid. I want people to know she's a great javelin thrower. She placed in the SEC. She qualified for the states. And she's always willing to do anything. She'll run any relay, any event, and there's nothing you can ask her she won't do. So come on up, Liz LePage. Congratulations, son. I'm so proud. Thank you. This speech would be so much easier if I didn't lose my very expensive glasses this week. SEC honorable mention. The next one is distance runner Alyssa Storm, an outstanding runner. As I looked up stats, she's probably the 3rd best distance runner in the history of the school. She placed in 2 events at the SEC championship, 3rd and 5th. That's a big deal because anyone can run 100 and 200. She runs the mile and the 2 mile. And when you think 3rd or 5th, you don't know what that means. There's 10 schools. So she has to be 3rd. That means on about, check my math, 7 schools. She'd be the best runner at that school. And she placed 10th at the state meet. I used to really appreciate her dedication. I admire it now. She's someone, no matter what she does in life, she's going to be successful. It will have nothing to do with luck. It'll be always hard work and dedication. So she's only a sophomore. She's someone I look up to. Come on up, Alyssa Storm. Great job. 3 down, 12 to go. All right, now we're going to go to the Coaches Award. This first person came out for track. It was her first season. She did really well. She took 4th in the shot put, and the 3 people ahead of you are all seniors, so you're the top returning shot put in the SEC. When she joined track and heard us all talking about things, she had no idea what we were talking about, Coaches Invitational, and she just said, I want to qualify for stuff. I was like, Amber, what do you want to qualify for? She goes, just anything. She not only qualified for the SEC as the top returning thrower, she was 13th in the state meet. And she's athletic. You've seen her play other sports, but she was good because she cares. I've never seen someone leave the shot put circle and say, I can't get the glide. And she calls her friends to talk about it. She watches videos to get better at it. So I think she's a good athlete, but I think she's successful because she cares. And if today she can successfully negotiate the stairs, she can come up and get an award. Come on up, Amber. The next Coaches Award, senior captain. She won a lot of races, but that's not why she's getting a Coaches Award. Often people will say when we're not being really positive, but track kids aren't like that. Every track kid that gets an award generally seems surprised. This kid gets awards, I think, because she's the favorite. She's been the favorite of 4 different programs, but she's the favorite of all her teammates. When we're talking about awards and what's going to happen, everyone said as long as Rachel gets one. If I told kids she can get an award of you, they'd say take mine and give it to her. Sometimes, like, people talk about kids being helpful and nice. I don't know, she just is Rachel, and she just does things that she thinks she's supposed to do. When we have track meets she doesn't go to, and we're going to a 6-hour track meet, and she's got to get up at like 7:30 in the morning, she's not in the meet, and she shows up and gets on the bus. I was very surprised. She had a clipboard when she showed up at a coaches meeting with me one time on the infield, which she certainly wasn't allowed at. She does things I don't see people do. She picks up the weight room after everyone, cleans off the weights, and I think through the small schedule, I don't think she got beat in the 400, but maybe I'll find other runners, but it'll be tough to find someone with her character. Come on up, Rachel. All right, we got the SEC awards, and honestly, I got to keep giving out awards to girls. It shows you how far the program's come. We had 2 SEC All-Stars. The first one, she's certainly been up here before. I've had the good fortune of coaching her for 10 seasons. She might not describe that as good fortune, but it's worked really, really well. And Meredith's usually known when she comes up here for being a great athlete. To watch her, last year people would go to the triple jump just to watch this kid glide through the air, effortless. She makes everything look easy. Because of injuries, nothing was easier for her this year. Everything hurt. And then there were meets. She jumped twice, and she wasn't in first. So I'd say, don't even do your 3rd jump. Because she listens to me so well, she'd do her 3rd jump, and she'd win the meet. So when she was injured, and we can talk about, did she have the best season? With Megan running the hurdle, she won every 100, but she won all the jumps. So her record in her individual events was, I think, 12-0. So I wish I could have a bad season like that where I can't be beat. Before she's got an award for athleticism, today I'm going to recognize her character. And with probably the only person I experienced this with is Brendan Costa. When you go into the SEC room to vote, I've never seen someone get so much respect from other coaches. They put the accomplishments up on the board. With her being hurt, I wasn't sure what to do. I saw them put up names with accomplishments the same as hers. So I said, if you're putting her up, I'm putting Meredith up. I didn't give her the strongest endorsement. I said, that's what I'm doing, vote the way you want. The coach next to me says, I can't tell if you even want me to vote for her or not. I said, vote the way you want, and vote after vote came in. And the last last year, I'll probably tell, is an official came up to me when she was injured and asked where she was, and she said, oh, I missed her. And I said, we haven't had you this year. And she goes, no, I had her for one event last year. And she remembered you and thought highly of you. And when I was at the All-State meet, Meg Hughes, a state champion in multiple events through her career, was telling me how fast you are in soccer. So come on up, Meredith Castro. Again. All right, we're almost done. One girl left, 2 awards. So we're going to go with our last SEC All-Star, our other one, and our most valuable athlete is Megan Borges. Megan does everything right. She's always at practice. She takes care of herself. She's not hurt. She manages schoolwork well in her outside job, so she's never stressed. I think she could be a model for so many young ladies in the school. And by the way, she's really, really fast. In the 200, she set the school record. She broke her own record. And we go over school records. The kids get me, I think, sick of me saying it like that, but I tell them, just another school record, we almost become immune to it. It means you're the fastest person in the history of the school in the 200. There's never been anyone who walked the hallways who could beat in that race. She raced the 100 as well, and she just missed the school record, Merit school record, by just a couple hundredths of a second. And I'll probably mess up where you finished in the SECs. I think, was it second in the 200, third in the 100? And then we went to the state meet, and I said, I don't really care where you place. Go get yourself a school record, and she certainly did. She's unbelievably talented, coachable, and if you ask her, she describes herself as delightful. So come on up, Megan Borges. All right, now we'll get to the boys. The boys actually have 2 seniors that are working, I think, in New York right now, couldn't be here. Another one taking care of some school obligations. Both my SEC honorable mentions couldn't be here today, so I'll go over it quickly. One was Noah Casado. He got 3rd in the SEC in the shot put, but he was a leader. He had a really successful career. Our throwers were a real force in the state meets at the state level. Noah's a big part of that. Took a lot of accountability, so I'll catch up with him, make sure he gets the award. The other one is Jordan Roderick's, a new athlete to us, and he jumped 6'2", which tied the school record as a sophomore. He was great in the hurdles and a great kid to coach. So I'll certainly, those are my 2 SEC honorable mentions. SEC sportsmanship goes to someone that maybe could have been up here before. He's a hurdler. He's very accountable, takes a lot of responsibility for things. As a track coach, there are times I do have the sprinters going, the jumpers going, hurdlers going, the high jump, and there's 3 or 4 places, things go on at once. You can't be everywhere at once. So a hurdler, you have to find someone who's good, like Keegan is, and you can say, that's great, now you have to teach everybody else. So Keegan, he had a very good season, but I don't measure success by that. I measure success by how all the other hurdlers did. And they did great, Keegan, so you should feel good about their accomplishments as well. So come on up and get your SEC sportsmanship. Coaches Award, Antonio Luna couldn't be here. He was on the 4x100 team, and I hope I remember to mention all. I'll do it right now. Trey Godfrey, Colby Campos, and Chris Costa. You guys might get mentioned later. But they set a school record. Antonio Luna, though, what I could say is every underclassman should learn from him. He didn't care that much how he did this season. He really didn't. He worked hard, but he cared what's the program going to look like for the next 2 or 3 years. He helped recruit people like Colby and Jordan. He worked tirelessly for the freshman JV runners, which is a great bunch of guys. He worked hard to make sure you enjoyed the sport as well. And that's what I like about my stars. They took pride in their accomplishments, but even the newest kids in the JV runners as well. So Antonio can't be here, but he got a coach's award. The other one getting a coach's award, and this is kind of a career service award. He did have a really good season, as did, I think, Antonio. But it's Austin Michael. And Antonio and Austin have done a lot for this program. Austin's overcome injuries. He's run cross country as the only person in the program at one time. He's a very great captain. I'm excited that he's going to be continuing his track career at Rick. We had 4 people compete in the collegiate level this year. And you couldn't ask if anyone's hiring and he needs a job, you'd hire him a second. He's responsible and he's mature. And I don't have the words to say how much you've done for the distance program. Come on up, Austin. All right. 3 people to go. 3 people to go. Sorry, we're just that good. The next SCC All-Star, he's someone had a lot of respect from other coaches in the room. I didn't really have to push for on track. There's a lot of varied events, and you need someone that you can plug into all events who's good at all of them. And I'd say that's Chris Costa, but he's great at all of them. Other people don't have athletes like him. He threw with Ty Kudo and Isaac Tucker. You guys won, was it the D4, the javelin, the state relay? So out of the 40 teams, you guys were the best. You won by like 21 feet. So you can throw the javelin, that would be enough. He can run the 100, the 200, the relay, the long jump, the triple jump. He was 3rd in the 200 at the SECs and 4th in the triple jump. So in most schools, you would have been the best at both of those. It would have been even higher if Colby Campus didn't join the team this year. Chris Costa and him, Antonio, when they're being captains, people say they're less like captains and more like talk show hosts or comedians. Track can get monotonous. They made it fun for everyone. And while we remember Chris for his athletic accomplishments, probably the best part of coaching him is at the end of practice, the Chris Costa super duper fun cool down runs. Come on up, Chris Costa. Yeah, he's awesome. All right, 2 more. There's 3 throwing events. There's the javelin, the discus, and the shot. If you go, you say the 3 throwing events, they're very different. I can look at a list of all the people in the state that can do all 3. Isaac Tucker. That's it. He was 2nd in the SEC in the javelin and the discus. So, again, dominant. Any other team would like to have him. What about the shot put? He was trying to win both of those, so we let him not throw the shot. He would have placed in the shot as well. So the most accomplished javelin throws we've had. He's had success. He's been on probably D4 state relays. You've probably got 3 first-place medals. Very coachable. Very coachable. He likes to joke around a lot, but he's very, very serious. He's the most versatile thrower. I did track in high school and college, and since that time, I've never seen a more versatile thrower than you. But I was really affected by him when I talked to him. Everyone worries, who's going to get an award? Who's going to be captain? I approached Isaac about being captain, and when I approached him early, he listened. He was very respectful, and when I finished, he said, "That's great. Don't you think Noah Casado would be a better captain? I think he's a good match for that." So he could have been a captain his senior year, and he thought one of his teammates deserved the honor. So I really appreciate that, and I have the utmost respect for this young man. Come on up, Isaac Tucker. You're the best. Congratulations, Cody. All right, we're doing okay. The last award is SEC MVP. I often hear there's this fast kid playing another sport. Oh, this kid's so fast in gym class. We've had lots of talented sprinters. We've had relays compete and win and relay at the state level. So here comes another fast kid, Colby Campus. First few days, he looked really fast, maybe the fastest on the team, but we weren't going for real yet. So we'll see when we turn everyone loose. He was the fastest kid on the team. Then we had the SEC schedule. We only go against the small schools at first. He was the fastest guy in the smalls. But then it was the SEC championship. His leg was bothering him a little bit, so we limited his events to 2. He got second in the triple jump, and he was the 200 SEC champion. He was the fastest by far. In the picture, if you beat someone by just a couple feet in the 200, it's a lot. You can't even see the other person. So now he's the fastest person in the SEC, a very talented conference. But now we're going to the D4 state meet, and it's 40 teams. It's probably the biggest stage he's been on, and he was a D4 state champion. The time he ran, if it was handheld time, I would have doubted it. It was automatic time, so it's legit. So he's a D4 state champion. I knew he was going to be good when he came in second in a small school, again, up to 1,000 kids in a school, actually more, when he got second. He was under the meet record. He's the second fastest in his event in the history of that meet, and he didn't look happy. He doesn't like to lose. I don't think he lost to that kid again. He was ranked in the top 10 of all divisions. He was ranked in the top 10. And I don't know if you can say he's the best sprinter in the history of the school, but I can say it. You're the best sprinter in the history of the school. Come on up. All right, that's it. Good luck to softball. And my team, you're the best. Thank you for everything.
Okay, we have 2 more awards that we will be handing out before we conclude tonight's ceremony, and they are the male and female athlete of the year for 2018-2019. And I'm just going to take a second to explain to you the process that we follow here, which I think, in comparable to a lot of other high schools, it's a very good process. As the season is coming to an end in the spring, I contact all head coaches and solicit different nominations that they do have that they would like to be considered for Athlete of the Year for both male and female. We compile all of the nominees. We send all of the nominees out to vote. Each head coach gets a vote for a male. Each head coach gets a vote for a female. And we accumulate all those points, and the 2 highest point getters, 1 male, 1 female, win the award. So, and again, I think it's a very fair process and one that we're very proud to implement. So we will announce our first award winner, and we will we'll announce Female Athlete of the Year first. Our Female Athlete of the Year for 2018 and 19 is a senior. She is a 3-sport varsity letter winner. She played volleyball, basketball, and softball. She is a 3-sport team captain. She's an SEC All-Star in both volleyball and softball. She is the team MVP in softball. She was also voted Massachusetts Volleyball Coaches Association All-State in volleyball. She will be graduating and moving on to UMass Amherst to study biochemistry, which I think is more impressive than the award she's about to get. But our 2018-19 Female Athlete of the Year, Senior Madison Medeiros. Our Male Athlete of the Year is also a 3-sport varsity letter winner who's a senior. This gentleman played football, basketball, and outdoor track. He is a 3-sport team captain. He was an SEC All-Star in both football and outdoor track. He was SEC Honorable Mention in boys basketball. He was voted team MVP in football and was the 2018 Joseph Case High School representative for the Otto Graham Award. He will be continuing his athletic football career at Bates College in the fall. And our 2018-19 Male Athlete of the Year is Christopher Costa II. And don't get too comfortable in that new parking spot that you took tonight. Okay, just a couple friendly reminders before we wrap things up. If you're an award winner, please make sure that you report to the gymnasium, and Mr. Hall will be taking pictures. Please make sure that you see your varsity head coaches for certificates, pins, and letters. I hope everyone has a very fun, safe night. Hopefully the Bruins win. Have a great night, and thank you so much.